Hello, everybody. Pay no attention to the cat sleeping on my denim shorts over my jorts over there, I guess. Jean shorts, denim shorts, however you want to call it. Yeah, I haven't actually officially gotten dressed yet today, but it was a day off, and I've just spent the entire day writing, because this is what I actually wanted to do with this channel as I brought it back up, and it was to share my writing, and hopefully grow an audience, and, by the time the book is done and finished, I'll have enough of a people to buy it already. That's what I'm hoping for, because selling something in fiction market nowadays, especially in the dark fantasy historical setting, is kind of a pain in the butt because Game of Thrones happened and everyone got pissed off at the final episode. So yeah, like nowadays, people who sold better than what is his first name? Sanderson, like people who sold better than Sanderson's first book are getting dropped. And Sanderson is, as is like multi-millionaire with how many books he sold. So if you're going to make it, you have to immediately come out with million sellers. So it's a really hard thing to do. So I'm going to read a chapter to you. And before I say this is a rough draft, okay? I don't even know if this chapter is going to be in the finished product. It's just a sample, and I will hopefully showcase other samples along the way. And, maybe showcase some of my project of, here's my organization, here's what I'm doing, here's my outline, here's this, here's that. Here's my process of what I'm doing. So here is, after the break, will be Chapter 3 of this version. So, Chapter 3, Asa PonteCorvo. A thunderous boom awoke Asa from his fitful sleep as a fire-hardened red clay brick smashed through the thin wooden slats of his bedroom window, and a nauseous plume of jagged splinters and red-powdered mist scattered across his flesh and bedding. "Giada, get down!" His wartime instincts kicked in as he dove across to his wife's side of the bed. He landed face first upon her unruffled sheets and pillows, and in a few frantic moments of blinded panic, scoured through the woolen sheets to find her. Down in the city street, a night watchman blared his horn. The ruckus laughter of drunken hooligans sounded off into the distance, followed close behind by the heavy metallic clangs of a vacant soldier's bronze armor. The commotion faded into the night, and left Asa alone with nothing but the soft, spectral whistle of the frigid air as it brushed across his broken window. The flakes of red speckled dust settled with gentle grace upon his blotchy, chemically stained skin. The cold midnight air rippled across his upright hairs, and as he took a deep breath, his heart slowed to a relaxed tempo. That's right, he remembered, as he held onto the crisp, chalky air till it turned stale in his lungs. His wife was a medicinal woman, a ward doctor who tended to patients far away from home. She would be safe from the sunset curfew in the better side of town. No, Asa's fingers curled into his bedsheet as his worn and baggy eyelids pressed a tear down his cheek. That was the lie I told myself before her stoning. My beloved was dead. Asa let out a foul, pungent breath, and his old brittle bones popped back into place. He hoped the fresh waters of time would one day wash away the cold, bitter memories he lodged deep inside his heart of stone. He yearned that one day he could make up for the sins of his youth, and prove to the world that he was no longer the foolish, young tyrant the previous invaders forced him to be. He wished that his god Elohim forgave him, and that in turn he could one day learn to forgive himself. Get over half a score of failings since the resolve to change. None of his dreams came to fruition. The only difference between now and before was that now his hair was short and wintered, whereas before it was long, brown, and curled. He was still the same sinner, only older and dying. Asa coughed into the crook of his elbow, and he felt the sticky, wet stain of his tainted essence seep through the well-worn fabric of his plain undertunic. He opened his bloodshot eyes and stared at the blackened spot that was once a clean crimson. Asa estimated he only had a few short months left to live. His time was running short, and yet there was still so much he needed to do. At the very least, he needed to keep his care daughter safe. He needed to ensure a better future for her. With a guttural resolve, Asa wiped the blood from his parched and cracked lips and curled the folds of his undertunic over themselves to hide the cancerous blot. Asa let in a controlled breath and bowed his head for the first of his 3 daily prayers. Shema Arba Nahar Aretz, he recited the phrase in his native Turian dialect. Elohim Elohinu, Elohim Ihad. His baggy, bloodshot eyes fluttered open, and he stared down at the clusters of splinters and brick fragments scattered across the floor. Putting on his cracked and dusty spectacles, Asa noticed the letters B-O-G carved into the surface of the brick. Asa sighed and shook his head. He didn't require much of an imagination to determine the remainder of the slur. And thank you, he lifted his gaze and continued the prayer in the modern tongue of Vecca. For making glass windows a luxury only the rich need worry about breaking. He pressed his palms together and sealed the prayer with a bow. His old brittle bones popped once again, and as he returned to his seat with a creak and a groan, a small modicum of weight seemed lifted off his shoulders. Asa reached for his bedside table for a frayed and woolen sock. In doing so, he put too much pressure on his right side, and a sharp, searing pain shot up his hip. The fire stabbed into his abdomen, churned around, and spidered down his veins into his inflamed, gnarled stump of scar tissue that used to be his right leg. Asa groaned in agony, clasped his thigh, and as he repositioned himself upon his bed, the fire subsided, and his pores began to sweat. Asa panted through gritted teeth as he kneaded the throbbing stump back into submission. The livid knot of an appendage always grew more disagreeable in the change of seasons, doubly so in the uncalculated months of winter before the new year. Careful not to make the same mistake twice, Asa picked up a sock and bronze prosthetic leg. He slid the sock over his knurled and withered end, cupped the prosthetic over the sock, and strapped the leather buckles tight around the scars of his thigh. Well, he arose with a creak and a groan and ran out of breath. Forgiveness doesn't come to a man who waits. He psyched himself up as he leaned against the wall. Since I'm already awake, I might as well start my day. For the sake of my daughter, I must continue. And there you have it. That is Chapter 3 of that current draft of the story. Sorry for someone here getting in the way and distracting me. Also sorry that I am not a professional voice actor and I don't necessarily know how to have the dramatic reading voice or whatever. But yeah, no. So I'm sure there was a few spelling errors, a few grammar errors, stuff like that in there. It's a work in progress. It is part of the setup. If I'm doing a RDD/GCD cycle, it's an RDD. We're dealing with 961 words right now, so it's 1.5 pages on a Word document. How that would relate to an actual page count when it's properly formatted, it'll be its own thing. But yeah, no. So that's just introducing one character to one of my characters to you, the world, and I have a few more chapters that I'm going to read eventually, but, we'll still talk more stuff with wrestling and all that stuff as well. Everything else, other things that I'm interested in as well, like, if there's anything good that comes out of D23 or whatever, or anything involving Universal, or just movies, games, stuff like that in general. But yeah, no. I'm done writing for the day, and I'm done reading to you for the day. I have not yet eaten today, and it is 8:21 p.m. I have not eaten, I have not showered, I have not done a lot of things. I should probably go and take a shower and have some food now, so that I actually don't wither and die. But thank you. Please leave nice, kind comments down there, anything that you would like to know about of the world, questions, concerns, just generalized thoughts, please